this is such a harrowing story, but one that's got so many interesting layers to it. What about it really spoke to you both to want to be a part of it?
My
Well,
answer, oh, go, you go.
please, no, Leo, take it.
I think mine is just shorter, maybe, because I wasn't familiar with the story much, but the people involved, um, Nick, the cast, Jake, Colin, Amanda, the director, Eliza, a huge fan of her work, and that just, I mean, to get the chance or opportunity to work in that environment was what drew me to the project first.
Yeah, I mean, similar. And I think, I was intrigued by, I was aware of like Nick's work and thought it was wonderful. And that Jan and Marianne were a part of it. It felt like, oh, this is a safe, like strong foundation for us to do something special. And I don't think I knew at the time quite what I agreed to in a way. It's like 6 months in, you go like, boy, we've been doing this story for a minute here. Like it's clearly not a parallel to experiencing this kind of abuse or trauma or grooming, anything like that. Just as a creative person, you go like, this is I thought, oh, this will be engaging and different and new. And then when you really like dig in, you're like, this is a lot to live in this world for this long and try to tell this story. But again, obviously nothing compared to living it.
Sure, but yeah, like you say, it's that empathetic nature of the job is you put yourself in the shoes, and then you start to get the feeling of it a little bit. So with that said, then, I mean, what was it like developing the rapport between each other for the series? Because I mean, you have such a unique relationship with one another within the show.
I the best I can describe it is that there's a lot, to me, a lot of the relationship between Gail and B is kind of what's not said and what's expected. And so I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but Leo, but I don't feel like we had a lot of sort of architectural discussions of like, this is how we should build this, as much as the sort of foundational, like, what's going on here, and then doing the scene together, and really trusting the writing and the directors to nudge it one way or another, or our individual performances one way or another, and seeing what that sparks creatively. But I think really, like, it's a credit to my experience, Leo as a person, and Colin and Anna, that I felt like everybody came to this like open and vulnerable and willing and kind of pulling in the same direction, and that it made the meshing together to create this thing that much easier, smoother.
Yes, I would agree. I think that it's such a unique relationship that they had. For me, I did all of my relationship work exterior of or without Jake. I wrote songs in character about Bob, and tried to find like how I was connected, how much I was connected, and find that kind of ideal love, ideal family situation and everything. And I tried to bring that to our interactions, and honestly being able to just react off of Jake's different levels and subtleties of just little tiny pinpricks, which is what grooming is. It's like little tiny paper cuts you don't even notice are happening until you can't touch anything. So I feel like that worked really well for us.
Well, it certainly comes across well on screen when you two do share screen time together, as well as separately, of course. And then, so Jake, for you, I mean, this is a character that could easily go one way or another, of being too likable or being not likable enough. What is that like for you, walking that razor thin wire?
I really trusted, again, like Nick, in the writing of it, and then the directors, to guide that, really, for me to show up with a framework, or maybe once an episode be like, I think it's this, not that, and kind of see what that reaction was. Because sometimes I was coming to it, they would have a more nuanced or thoughtful thing where I'd be like, oh, of course, yes, yes, let's do that, and really, I don't mean to just pass off responsibility to others, but it's like, you can only do so much on your end as creating this thing and trying to find these points where Berchtold is flipping from one intention to the next, or from this veneer for whoever he's interacting with, everybody gets their own special B, and then the moments where we can show him in a private moment with himself and the kind of void that existed there. But also all of that is like requires writing and directing and wonderful cinematography and then wonderful editing. And, it's like, there's so many people between what I think I'm doing and what someone is seeing. And sometimes you luck out and what you thought was happening is communicated, and other times you don't. And so really it's like a credit to this cast and crew and creative team and the producers. Like, if anyone is engaged by this thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very real team effort to get that product at the end.
They allowed for nuance.
Yeah.
Well, that team effort certainly shows. Like I said, I've loved what I've seen so far. I look forward to when I get to watch the rest and spread the word about it. So thank you both so much for taking the time to chat. I greatly appreciate it.